Hi, and welcome to Visibility Unlimited and Visibility Unlimited Spotlight, the podcast, or I should say the video to the podcast, Visibility Unlimited. Our focus today is social impact. So, this is a social impact spotlight. And you know, when I do my social impact spotlights, I start out with my 8 questions. So, I don't tell you the guest name as of yet. They will tell you soon. But my first question is always, who are you? And if you can tell me who you are without saying what you do.
Absolutely. I won't say my name either. I am a neurodivergent, queer. Let me see, queer mischief maker. I think is probably the best way to put it, with a healthy disregard for the status quo. I have no patience for that. That seems like the starting off point. So I asked my sister, and she told me to say, "You are a handful," but then I wasn't sure if that was okay.
Oh, I love that. That is priceless.
Yeah.
I love the entire introduction.
Oh, thanks.
Now that I know your name.
Oh, my name is Dani Feher, and yep, that's the answer.
I love it. Danny, what does social impact mean to you?
Oh, well, I think social impact is it's a couple of things, but no matter what, it needs to be authentic. Your efforts need to be visible, accessible, authentic, and change driven. They're going to have an impact on. Oh, I can't use impact again. They're change motivated. I don't think we do things and not expect there to be an end result that's been influenced by our action. So, yeah.
Well, I love that because I think so many people say social impact and they forget the impact part of the action of that it must be something that you can actually execute. What is that part of it? And that could be a feeling, right? That comes
It could
up.
be. Yeah, I think it's also, you don't always know what change will occur from
Right.
your action. But if you're authentic and you are available and you're present, then hopefully whatever good you have inside is actually going to leave its little mark on the rest of the world. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And what is the social impact that you bring to the world?
Oh, well, I think I, well, what I do, the reason why we started to talk was because of Pransome. Pransome is a community project that is focused on tailoring and alterations for people. So we basically offer not only styling services, but sourcing and then alterations themselves for people throughout Philadelphia. So what I do is sort of grow that community of volunteers and staff and vocal supporters to be able to take the clothes that are available, garments that are available to people in resale or retail environments, and then make them fit. Have them match your life, the pace, the body, the style, the things that you make you you. And we do that at different price points, so it is accessible. Anyone with money can walk in and get their clothes tailored to their body. But what about the rest of the world? I think for me, there's something that happens when you put on clothing that fits you. You feel grounded. You feel safe. Worthy. And so we can get a little bit into that, but I never thought that my way of changing the world was going to be based on a t-shirt. So
Okay,
like,
fair.
kid needs a hem. Like, why would that be it? I come from a background in public policy, and so it has been a bit of a journey to get me here. But I'm not sure if there's more questions about what I do that we want to
Well,
dive into.
I was so impressed. I went in to the shop and just to one, scope it out before I came to donate clothing there.
Yeah.
I wanted to really see what they were doing. I read about it, but are you really giving away the clothing as well as selling the clothing? Like what's happening in this space so it doesn't just sit in another landfill or something somewhere. I wanted to be intentional about where I donated the clothing. And I'm walking around and I see you in that sewing machine and this spirit that you have. And I was like, oh, well, that's cool that there are, tailoring clothing here. But then what really moved me to another level is that you said, there's so many trans adults, kids, people that come in and they cannot find clothing for the identity for which they want to live and be set in. And this is not about anyone's whether or how they feel about any community. This is about how you feel about yourself and how we walk through this world. And you don't think about anyone beyond yourself that yes, clothing makes you, if you're going out somewhere, you want to be cute and you go buy new this or new that. And you can usually find something, not always, right? Every community can't, but whether it's body size or height, but to add the extra dimension of I'm in my spirit to be my spirit, the best that I can be, but yet I can't find anything that actually works for me. And you
Yeah.
do that.
I I am so privileged to do that. So yes, you're right. Pransome partners with the Wardrobe, which is there are several sites throughout the Philadelphia area, and we are located inside the Fourth and Callow Hill site. And we've been there as a permanent install. So it's been really exciting in the past year. You're right. There's some dialogue that needs to happen. And I think, for me, I grew up in a big family. We had limited means. And so we would get the bags from the church. And these bags were full of tall, skinny girl clothes and skinny boy clothes. And so it was really, as a proud Sicilian meatball, I was never going to wear any of them. And as a non-binary little person who didn't quite understand that, I would look at all these things and be like, I'm so grateful that they exist. And they also, you couldn't have them be what I wanted to wear and have them fit. That seemed like way too much of a hope or a dream space.
Right.
And so I didn't realize that until you had asked me to speak with you. I was like, wow, I have origins from way long ago that have impacted my passion for this. You're right, there is a dialogue that needs to happen when we are offering services or offering from our excess, right? So in donating clothing at the Wardrobe, that's very high end stuff that it, well, high quality, I think I'd say.
Right.
And that's the benefit from, an eco-conscious perspective. You don't have to buy more, just have the things that exist already that are quite lovely. Just have them fit you. So
Right.
I've had a lot of conversations with folks that have come in as what I refer to as prepaid clients. The budget is already there. They get free garments, and having the dialogue where they'll ask, well, how should I look? You're the tailor. Go ahead, tell me what should it
Right.
look like? And I
Fix me.
stop and I'm like, no, actually, you are the expert on your body. We just met, and you actually know more about what you need and want, and I'm going to be here to facilitate that. So it's taking away these ideas that there's a person in authority over our bodies that is not us, that decides how short your pants should be or how tight
Right.
this should be. And so instead of saying, well, how do you think you look? I always ask, how do you feel? And that is one of the critical changes and differences in the service that we provide. There is it's like a healing, like a mending of your relationship with your body, and also deprioritizing this piece of fabric that can demoralize people, make them feel horrible, make them more focused on the aspiration of what they will look like in 2 weeks or 4 weeks. Like, I'm going to
Right.
lose weight and fit in this thing,
No.
or I used to be able to fit in this thing. which on the surface would be like, oh, we hear that all the time. But underneath it, there's some real, I would even use the word damage that happens because we're not in this moment. We're not caring for this version of ourselves. We're not honoring the, the journey that we're on and what we've survived as human beings on this planet, let alone adding the trans and queer,
Right.
yeah, the trans and queer experience, especially nowadays. So I think that like those are some of the differentiators. It's like building or repairing that relationship we have with what we are and how we show that to the world, and the confidence that comes with it. Because a lot of what we do at Pransome is driven. Like, it is funded by our free effort. Most of the time, we do work trade. So, and also at cost. So there are different price points, like I mentioned before. So we do not eliminate the option of you walking away with clothes that fit.
I love that. I mean, that's all brilliant. Tell me more about the work trade. What is that?
That is so much fun. And it started just because we had some people that came in that needed a lot of support in that alteration process. So I needed to come up with something because we offer one free alteration for our appointment clients. And then we started talking, and this person was very interested in what I was doing. And I said, hey, why don't I show you how to do this for yourself? And they were open to it. And since we have, you can kind of see it this way, some of my machines all in here.
Yes.
These are, but I have more machines at the wardrobe. And I said, hey, I can show you how to do these hems so you can do them anytime. If you will also do some admin work for me or take photos of the alterations as we process them. And so that started as just a need with one client, and then we now have interns, and anyone can sign up to be that if you want to learn or be able to transform your own wardrobe. We do those kinds of trades. So I'm very proud of that because it allows me to teach what I've learned by doing, and also avail this other revenue stream for people. This is a gig economy that we live in. So the reality is that down the line, the goal is that people, community members, could staff our Pransome table and be able to do what I do with other clients and kind of pay it forward. So, yeah.
That is really social impact.
Yeah,
That is really social impact. On one side, social impact needs to be funded. There needs to be a tunnel of funds that are coming in to sustain the things that you do, but to be able to find a way that you're teaching a skill without it being felt like you're teaching a skill and you're giving someone a career option or a gig option.
Yeah.
But more than anything, you're giving someone the feeling of how they can be part of a community.
Yeah, I didn't think it was. I just keep going back to like, how did I get here? I come from a very big tech background, and I did education at Google, where we were trying to teach people all over the planet that had limited, like everyone had different backgrounds. How do you inspire or show people the impact of digital learning? And that actually brought me to this idea that it has to be neuro inclusive. Like you can't just teach someone one way and be like, oh, if you didn't understand it in this language, then
Too bad.
You are not smart enough, or like you can't. No, actually, we are far more complex and capable than we realize.
Right.
And by having that as a baseline, it's helped me see that there are a lot of different ways to teach, a lot of different ways to learn, and that I'm here for all of it. So I am a self-taught tailor and haberdasher, but I'm also 5 feet tall. So there was a need from the beginning to be able to make clothes fit me. And I learn by doing. I'm a kinesthetic learner, so I've destroyed plenty of suits, so I'll never destroy yours. It's sort of how I explain it to people. I've already messed it up. But I also give people the opportunity to wreck things. I think that that's really important, that you cannot, this fabric is not more important than you are. There is nothing more important than your like ego strength, your confidence, and your self-worth, I really just, I believe that through and through because of where I come from as an AFAB person in tech, being, I broke a ton of stuff and I was totally fine with that. And I don't know a lot of other modalities where you're encouraged to break things.
No, as a society, we're not encouraged to break things. We're
Well, yeah.
encouraged to figure it out. And if something goes wrong, fix it very fast
Or pay for
and
it,
move on.
right?
Or pay for it. Yes.
And I think that in that you have these disparities. Why is it that you have to be able to pay for a mistake that is part of the learning process?
Right.
I guess I got big opinions.
Well, no, because you
I'm
said
a handful here.
No,
Yeah.
it's a handful. But because you said it before, we're expected to all learn the same way.
Right.
And that is kind of my joy of working with as an accessibilities officer as part of what I do, because I cannot assume you can never assume one disability is the same. And that one disability can have 15 different ways it comes out in that moment.
Right. In this one context, with this one area, with these types of people, right? It's even more specialized than that. Yeah.
And so to be able to have to translate what's needed for everyone in the group to succeed, but be able to translate it in different ways that everyone can still move together. And you have to stop yourself and go, this isn't about how I learn or how I think they should learn or how I taught someone else with this how to learn. It's how do they see themselves learning? And then sometimes giving them a new skill to see it differently, if that's how their brain works. So,
yeah, and I think that at the end of the day, there is this. It's almost, it's not quantifiable necessarily, but it is very, very rich. It's in the empowerment and the respect that we offer people that have a different background, liberally dispensing that respect for your experience as being just as important as what society has dictated is the pedigree that we consider worthy of listening to. I know that I come with racial privilege and academic privilege. I was a big old nerd growing up, and so I didn't really have a lot of friends. I mean, this is a lot. So I
don't think I saw you and I was like, I didn't stop speaking about you. Like, I have friends that, because I really was like, I met this amazing person who's doing this amazing, like, I was so excited to see you in there and then for you to share with me what you were doing and how you were doing it. And then when you sent in your resume, I'm like, wait a minute, building scaling systems? Wait, what? Like, it also takes a lot to walk away from something that is so structured.
Yeah.
To say, this is bringing me joy, but it's also giving back, even though you probably didn't think it was giving back in the way, like you said, that there's so much to what you're doing.
Oh,
and it was so special to me because I think also when we think of social impact, we're very focused on what we think sometimes social impact will be. Let's do clean water. Let's make sure we have food. We need all of those things. We need everything that social impact is, we need it. But sometimes we don't understand that giving something to someone at that moment that can last them beyond that moment is not only impact socially, it is a personal impact that can go on beyond.
I thank you. Thank you for the affirmation, the support, and also saying that so eloquently. I think my origins inside of tech are interesting because when you try to scale this stuff, these ideas or these platforms and tools, you're not thinking about the end user, that specific person on the end. You're thinking about the average. And that actually works in some ways. But in this particular context, I can use that information, all of the how actually the data themselves are confusing. Actually, they're really not true. It turns out that people who are under 5'8", which is the middle number that median for all of those that wear, all those indicated male at birth, right? So whatever
Right.
you think about that. 5'8" is the middle point, which means 50% of people who are identified male at birth are shorter than that. But clothing has been historically only built with that middle point as the shortest.
Hmm.
What? I mean, that
Yeah.
doesn't even make sense. And then you add people assigned female at birth, and their overlap is substantial. There are a very large number of almost a third of the people who were assigned female
Mhm.
at birth actually are at that 5'8" or taller. So
I'm not there.
oh, you don't quite understand? Okay. Or you're not 5'8".
No, I'm not 5'8",
Right.
and used to be on my resume 5'7" to get into auditions. So
How tall are
yeah,
your shoes? That's all. I'm like, am I on a step? I can be whatever height you want.
right.
But in this, if we go down this little data thing, what seems odd to me is that the systems in play that create clothing
Mhm.
have made this um, assumption about how tall or wide people are that are under 5'8", or for AFABs or assigned female at birth under
Right.
5'2" to 5'3", right?
Hmm.
That's that middle point for people assigned female. Um, they just extrapolate. They said, okay, if you're this tall, your waist should be this, and you should be that, and then go down the line. It's never been cross-checked. Turns out,
No,
in
no.
100 years, no one
I
ever
was,
went back to find out if that estimate actually matches the population. And my nerd brain is like, oh, I found a loophole. Like, I'm super smart. So Pransome is actually down the line. Our hope is that we can figure out what the actual body sizes are of people that wear certain garments in certain ways. And obviously, it's all divorced from their personal health information or anything that would link to them. But
right.
we care about this population that hasn't had their needs met by the industry. And I want to make sure that things that we alter, we could alter them in advance. Like, why not buy all these jeans that are X amount in the waist and alter them for people that are under 5'8"? In a way that's available to them in the future, and they're rack sizes, so you could return them. Like, imagine a world where that's the case, that
Right.
you could get the garment you want that's fashionable. You're seeing it on TV, and you actually could get it shipped to you and in the size that's close enough, like it's the right length and it's going to fit.
Hmm.
The way we can do that using or harnessing data is like AI has come around with all these automations to be able to show us some of that what that how long or what that angle of taper is, all this stuff.
Right.
Okay, we don't have to go into the details there, but the point is that it gets rid of the big brain stuff so we can have the relationship with the people at the end. And
And
that's
it,
the, yeah.
yeah, and sorry to cut you off, but that also, having been in retail, that eliminates if you went to pitch at a retail and they go, we don't have the floor space for all of that. And that's what it all comes down to. Like, we're going to use that average and we're going to go from here and from here that much because that's what it's been. That alleviates that issue of someone going to the store and can't finding what they want that fits them, but has another option that can be ordered from somewhere that already understands the
Yeah,
body
I
type.
think right, and I think that's why the relationship with the wardrobe is super impactful because they have a limited amount of space,
Right.
but they have constant turnover.
Yes.
So, if you've never been, I mean, you've been, but for
Mm.
the audience, if you've never been, this is the best kept secret in Philadelphia.
It
I
really
only
is.
tell people who are not my size about this place because then I will not be able to. No, I
No,
just told
it
you.
is great. I
Yeah,
had to really talk myself into you are dropping off 10 bags because you need to get rid of things. Do not look at anything else around. And then I went and took other bags and I was like, stay focused. I try to get out of there so quickly
yeah.
because there's amazing things that are there and I will come and support. And I know that's a thing that if you donate, you can also pick up something. I know there's a whole, I was like, I don't want to read that. I don't want
I don't
to
want to know
read
I could
that.
come back. I actually donated something and then found it on the rack and was like, ooh, I like that. And I was like, oh my God, it's totally my clothes. And I was
Hilarious.
like, well, I see that it goes back. But with that, there's another thing that goes into this social impact. It's that picking things that, like for me, I have a really lean closet because I want to focus on who I am in this day. And there's a lot of people, especially with their body sizes changing as they age, or as medication, the impact of medications, one way or the other, and then they keep those favorite garments that haunt them. Either they're like it doesn't fit, or I can't wear that because of my age, or something like that, right? And what I've gotten into the habit of doing is actually finding friends that are that size, and I give it away. I tailor it so then it now fits them. And I get to see how great they look in that garment that really doesn't match my shape or pace or whatever it is for right now. And I think the wardrobe does a great job of that. It invites people to play, to try things on they never would have tried on before, and to let go of this excess. Is that coat, do you really need that many coats? You only wear one a day, if that. And so
I hear my friends saying right now, Leslie, go ahead and answer that. Go ahead. It's
But
like,
do you need those
because
coats?
I
They're
well, for everyone else, I love fashion. I've always loved fashion. As I have gotten older, I'm trying to do the same thing, lean down. Now, my version of lean down is someone else's version of lean down. It's probably not lean. I understand that, but I continuously release and let go, um,
right.
because you don't need to hold on. And lifestyle has changed. I'm not at an event every single night. I don't need 15 ball gowns. I don't need, 5 ball gowns anymore. You release those things. And every season now I'm going through again and releasing and letting go.
I think there are industries where it is important to look fresh, to have, a
Absolutely.
unique take. There's a balance, like you're saying. It's
Hmm.
not, if we focus so much on these garments, we're missing out on the opportunity to connect, the opportunity to give real life, or opportunities to others, right? So I've worked with clients that come in that I get the benefit of giving a free alteration. They've never worn a suit before. The only reason that suit exists is because someone was willing to concede they didn't need 4 of those kinds of suits.
Right.
And then I watch this person who actually didn't know the size they were to begin with. So this is my
Mhm.
favorite game. As a side note, is when someone walks in, I know their size, and then I ask, and then
Right.
if I'm right, I don't know, I get all excited. But the point is, many people don't know their size because they found the one piece and they're like, this fits, it's good enough.
Hmm.
But when you have multiple options, or I show them a little tweak that would actually, you know,
Change.
right, change how this shows up on their
Yes.
body. Having someone that's there while you're shopping is super helpful. You can make a better choice about how you use your resources and how and whether or not you're going to buy something used or go online to buy something fast.
Right.
So there are other things happening, and that's the dialogue that occurs with an haberdasher on site is actually non-trivial. People wouldn't think that they could wear it or don't know that they could look that great and feel that great. Well, the look is not as important. It's the face that I
Feel.
look for. Yeah, it's the
Yes.
feeling.
I work with a designer and I love when he takes a jacket off the rack of one of his suits and he puts
Yeah,
it on a man. They're like, nah, I'm a size. And I was like, when was the last time you were actually measuring? Like, your wedding, whatever it was. And they stick with that size. And when he changes the size and even just tapers it just that much, I didn't know I could do this. I didn't know I could wear this. And it does bring people a joy to see themselves in a different light because we're so conditioned to think. That's why I love to start out with the question, who am I? Who
yeah,
are you? You know, and because we don't ask ourselves that, but we have a story of it.
right. And so our relationship with that garment, right, or that
Hmm.
size, is is interesting because we associate it with youth or with success or with the best day of our life and don't realize that, like, no, you're living that best day right now, like you. So I try to encourage people to get out of the habit of this isn't, oh, I don't need a suit. If you want to, if you like it, let's try it on, right? Let's see
Right.
how it goes. Because there is a lot of social conformity that is associated with what you can wear when and how
Hmm.
old and why and all this stuff.
Absolutely.
But that's old. I think that that's no longer really valid. We get to
Mhm.
wear whatever we want for the day we have. And
That's
really
great.
encouraging people to not be so wedded to those rules because they're made by somebody else in a different century, frankly, like
Right.
not really even now. So,
So what's your why behind all of this?
why? I think that there are, for better or worse, people are, they make assumptions, they have biases based on what they see. And what they see might actually be the result of a lack of confidence because of these things we talked about, like not having the clothes that match our inner self or our authentic self. So the
Mhm.
why behind the why is to sort of equip people with the cheering section, the hype person in the background that's like, no, you are ready. You've got this. And, you know, you've conquered all these other things to get you to this moment. So show up as yourself because that's pretty great. So the why behind the why is probably a lot of I don't know, maybe taking care of my that little self. Like, oh my god, my therapist would be so proud of me right now.
Yes.
But it's offering that to people who have fewer resources to give them permission to walk through the world and know that they actually deserve everything that other people have given me for whatever reasons we could always speculate. But because I've looked a certain way, I want to make sure that I give away all the things I know and all the skills I have. So,
That's lovely. Thank you.
oh no, it's actually true. And I'm like,
No,
oh, I
but
can't get too teary on this,
no,
but
no, but no, that's lovely because I think social impact comes from within
yeah. Hmm.
first. And, that's my next question. Why should people care about social impact?
Social impact in general.
Yes.
I think you should care about how you show up because people are watching and people are they make assumptions based on what they see and how you treat them.
Mhm.
So it either affirms something that a person told them long ago that was negative about them, or it gives them the opportunity to show up differently or consider a world that could be different. I think social impact, we don't know how our behavior and our interactions with others can make or break the hearts of the young and the old and the disenfranchised. So if you have any sort of comfort in your life, think you have the opportunity to really balance or offset the discomfort in others.
I'm gonna leave that right there. I don't need to I really don't need to add on that. I hope those that are listening or are watching that are taking social impact out of companies or not sure what to do when it comes to social impact that keeps going, well, I need to find somewhere where I can go do something, to look at you and say, I can do something that gives me joy by giving it back to someone, to people, what I've learned. And that is social impact. It doesn't have to be underwritten by 10 companies or with 50 people. It can be how you move, what you give back, how you give back, how you present it, and how you show up.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it is. It shouldn't be self-congratulatory. It's not about you. Like, it's about the recipient of your effort, right? And
Right.
they're the ones to tell you if it had value. You are not the one to tell them, I'm giving this to you so you can better yourself. Like, no, 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 you've missed the point. I think that in all of this, we're overlooking the details, that the foundational details, right? So I think part of
Mhm.
what you're saying is don't just throw money at this for events to say that we're helping.
Yes.
Um, I like we've alluded to, I came from big tech, and the thing that I did the most was embedding equity and inclusion at the operational level. So if companies are just investing in a DEIB or any sort of
Anything they wanted, an alphabet soup that they want to call
yeah.
it right now.
Um,
Invest in people.
Yes, if you're investing in a particular marketing strategy to
Hmm.
either get more funds or get different assets and people or ideas or whatever it is, this is really marketing. This is just a sell. It's not actually changing anything. And so working at big companies, I thought about how do we make information transparent and accessible so people can make the best decisions possible. It's only by availing that information in a safe way so that everyone could do their best work or take away the tedium of, like written notes or whatever it is,
Right.
so that you can go do the things you love. The power behind real equity in operations is to get out of the way of being credited for it or the authority and let these standards guide fair practices, right? So
Mhm.
a good example of it is if only certain people have to commit to a due date, there is no due date because it's
Right.
just about entrepreneurship or negotiation, right?
Mhm.
So if you say you must submit this by X and then we turn off the ability to submit anymore, that is it. Um,
Right.
it sounds harsh, but on an operational level, you are insisting that people are all treated the same.
Mhm.
And if you do that, then the executive that didn't submit it cannot have their thing
Yeah, you can't
reimbursed
overwrite.
by a certain date, right?
Yes.
If you say, okay, we're going to share the notes on this, or we would like everyone to know how this discussion went, and if you don't provide a transcript, not everyone actually gets to know, which means the people that are asleep don't know. The people that are neurodivergent and need to read it don't know. So
Hmm.
it means only one type of person can actually provide feedback. And
Well,
think
and
about
I'm
that.
laughing as you say this, not because I think it's funny, but because this is what a lot of what I do. And when I was in, working with companies, I'm like, when you give this feedback, it must be verbal. We can do a town hall. It must be written. It must be posted somewhere because it can't just be on something that is written and goes away and comes back because there are people that are going to take longer to read it. There are people that need to hear it. That's the way they're going. So, how do we plan on making sure that everyone has the information and can understand it to the best of their ability or be able to come back and give feedback and or questions? And that's a lot to ask a company to ask for feedback once they've already given the feedback from the feedback. They don't want the extra feedback again.
Well, they can't be effective, right? So
Right.
there's also this idea of iteration, which kind
Hmm.
of goes back to the beginning of our conversation.
Right.
There's one pin session is not going to do it.
Right.
Sometimes you need to have a conversation afterward and see how does this feel. We thought it would look this way or feel this way, and now what else can we do, right? And you do this once or sometimes twice, depending on
Hmm.
how different the garment is from the end result that the client wants.
Right.
And but they have some expectation of their role and what the end result is, and that there is feedback that's wanted, right? And you
Right.
take the judgment out of it. It's not that I'm bad or you're bad.
Hmm.
We're just going on this journey together. So if
Right.
we apply this back to operations, giving people all the opportunity to have their opinion or their assessment in advance. Like in some of the experiences I've had, I post the agenda first. Everyone put
Right.
your updates
And
in
it,
writing before we even meet so
yes.
that everyone can come or provide feedback before the meeting happens. So if you're in a different time zone, you can't make it because you have a family and that is a priority, or you have
Right.
a client meeting. So, like, why are we trying to prevent good ideas by not making it neuro inclusive or available? That
Hmm.
is where you get into, I think, the unconscious decisions that really impair
Right.
progress. So, Well, you're talking about this in like in actual consultancies.
Hmm.
It goes back to this orientation of respect. Do you think that you have all the answers?
Right.
Do you think your way is the only way? It can't possibly be if we want to serve the world or if we want to make things open and available. It has to include more than my ideas. In fact, something I learned at Google a long time ago was the best way to get a project done is to find someone that vehemently hates your idea. So I learned this from the best, and like honestly, I find people that totally disagree with me,
Right.
and incentivize them to provide that feedback and have us work on the end result. You will find that no matter what, that end result really serves the population you care about. Because you've fixed a dissent, like you fixed tension between you and a colleague.
Right.
And therefore, that union, sure, there's going to be compromise, but it's going to meet the needs of so many more.
And that's social impact
That
right
is,
there.
yeah.
That is
Yeah.
social impact. I could not have said that any better. That's
Oh,
the best way
thanks.
I've ever heard it explained.
Oh.
We're coming near our end. Where can people find you?
Oh, okay. Well, physically, you can find me at the wardrobe most days, but the web address, pransome.com, so that's pransome.com. It's short for pretty handsome, which you're looking at it. And then I'm also on Instagram at Pransomist. And William Way has links. The William Way Center's website has links there. I think those are the fastest ways. Obviously,
Wonderful.
hello at pransome.com will get to me. And I think Instagram and showing up always great. You can also schedule time.
Mhm.
So our scheduling platform is through the website, and we can do consults, we can do actual pin sessions. Then there's definitely time to partner and intern if you're interested. It's all through the website, so
Wonderful.
feel
I
free
have
to
to
reach out.
ask one other question.
Absolutely,
Your logo,
yes.
because I saw that that was something that was so important to you.
Oh my
So
gosh, yes.
I have to ask before we go, can you share why your logo was so important to you?
Oh my gosh, I forgot that. Yes. So the logo is a P with a circumflex. It's like a hat.
Mhm.
It's a statistical symbol. And the P's circular part is a button. So first is the colors. The colors are in betweens. So it's the part right between blue and green, and the color right between orange and red, and right between yellow and green. And the idea is that I don't know if it's yellow or green. I don't know if it's red or orange or blue or whatever it is. And if you tell me it's blue, it's blue. If someone says it's green, it's green. So it's this idea of letting a person tell me what they are, who they are, and how they want to show up, that I can pivot and speak that language. So the colors are important. And then the like that actual symbol
Mhm.
is statistical. It talks about the population we care about. Literally, P hat is population we care about. When we compare it to the whole.
Right.
So some people, a smaller segment of the population, might be impacted differently than the average would indicate. So, queer, trans, short, under resourced individuals are having a different experience of the world than the average. And I care about that. So, I want their needs to be prioritized. So, yeah, Pransome.
Thank you. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
sharing so much to take away from this conversation. And I appreciate you and your time. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Me too. Me too.
And everyone, as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I'm Leslie Short, your host. You know, you can find me at the Cavu group. This is Visibility Unlimited. And you can listen or watch from YouTube or any of your favorite podcast channels. Thanks, everyone. Bye.